Edelgard did nothing wrong. Hello, this is the There's a Large Gaming Podcast, episode 130 of it. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Holland.
And I am Jeff Mayo.
And here we're going to talk about Edelgard, her manifesto, talk about her style of government and how it was pure and right, and everyone else is wrong.
It's true.
Hashtag she did nothing wrong. How you doing this fine Friday evening, Jeffrey?
Doing pretty good. Oh, yeah, it's Friday. Yeah, pretty good. How you doing this Valentine's Day, Darby?
I'm spending it with all of my friends. And you.
Yes.
But mostly all of my friends here.
No.
Nah, it's fine. Whatever. I don't think about it. Won't let it get me down. It's fine. It's just another day.
Yeah.
Just another day. I wish I was seeing Periphery tonight. That would be pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. That was tonight.
That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? There's still time, Jeff. They probably haven't started playing yet. Maybe they have. They probably have.
They probably have. Darby, Reptile's probably done.
I'm never going to see that song live. It's sad. All right, but we talk about video games on this podcast. But before we get into there video games, a few announcements. First off, our D&D podcast, Nerds and Dragons, is finally starting Arc 2. I apologize for how long it took to get here. But episode 6 is out right now, so you can go listen to that. For the next few weeks, you should have an episode of that every Friday as we get through Arc 2 and then what we're about to record tomorrow, which is the setup for the next arc. So you should at least get like 3 straight weeks of episodes, maybe 4, which is cool. And then I can't promise how long it's going to be between them, but we have a little string going here. I'm really excited about it. Like from this point onwards, it is all my original campaign that I'm writing, and I'm nervous, but I'm excited. And only other thing is our Pokemon Shield Nuzlocke. I know I've been saying this for a while, but for real though, it's almost over.
Yep, 1 episode left, definitively.
Unless just everything goes wrong, and then you have to go grind up some boys.
Oh God, please no.
I'm just saying, there's a chance.
I think we'll be fine.
We should be fine. So that's there. That's a good time.
Yep. And I guess update for Darby as well. I did a little bit grinding after we did our session last night. Already got our beautiful baby boy Bradford up to level 61, 62, and
that's
65.
a high number.
65 is what we need to be. Everyone else is lower, so pretty much what I'm doing. I knew this happened, but I couldn't remember if it happened before or after Leon. At some point, every Pokemon in the wild era becomes level 60.
Oh, just instantly?
Yes, every single Pokemon in that place.
I guess that's just so you can go back to old areas.
And every Pokemon you catch will be, at a relatively high level.
I was about to say, is that a good or bad? Or we're done catching things, so it's probably just.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you should have Pokemon level 60 or something, so it's fine. Either way. So
it might be hard to bring people back up, though.
Well, I mean, with the EXP share, you just get one of your high level boys.
Sure.
Generally speaking, I know Nuzlocke make that a little more difficult. So I lucked out to where the weather conditions in the area I was in had a whole bunch of Dreadnoughts or Keshas.
Yes.
Where Bradford is 4 times effective against.
Nice.
So I went there and just slaughtered them.
It just paved the plains with their blood.
Yep. So.
Oh, well, that's one. Yeah, so definitely go check that out. And last thing, if you're an audio listener, maybe go over to the video and look at all of our new decorations. We have even more than we did last time. We literally just put up like a bunch of these. We have Zillia representation, Red Dead. We have the West and the East represented. Got some New Donk City, Night in the Woods, Life is Strange. Things are going good here. I think we're starting to look cool. And we're not done. We're going to have even more stuff go up. So we look fancy. But let's stop rambling on about things that don't matter, Jeff. Let's get into some video games. What you got for us?
Dreams is out.
Dreams it's a real game. It is a real video game that has an actual release.
Reviewing very well. I don't know if you've seen that Metacritic and OpenCritic.
I have not. I've just heard general.
It's in the 90s.
Nice.
So
Am I wrong for thinking that I still don't know if that's going to matter sales wise?
It will help it.
It'll help.
Whether that makes it a success is a whole different story.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you've actually played the game.
Yeah, the completed version. I got it a little early, so I was able to get them, because we got the early access one.
Yes.
So messing around, played some levels in that. I'm going to go play that story mode at some point. I didn't realize it was the story mode until a little into my play session, and I was like, oh yeah, this is it. And because I don't know if it has a save thing, I don't want to take that risk. So
yeah. Well, yeah,
you can save in,
you don't think it's saving your progress at all?
No. Like if I started, because the way the story mode is set up, it is a meteor molecule level when you do dream surfing. It's like the first thing you see. I don't know if it saves progress, if I stopped.
That would be bad if it was not saving your progress through the story mode.
Oh, I don't disagree. I'm not saying it does or doesn't.
I feel like it would. That would be very strange if it would not.
It probably does, but
yeah.
I don't want to take that risk at the time.
That just feels like a weird fear. I'm sure it saves. It saves your progress. Yeah. But anyway, how is the actual game?
Oh, the game's good. I played some levels, and it's been a while since I played. Darby, I definitely say that people got better at making levels.
That's good.
And just the way they look and everything functions and all that. Even the stuff like that simple. There's one kind of platformer-ish game where you're literally just a marble and you're controlling and rolling through these obstacle levels. That very
I remember playing something kind of like that.
Yeah, so stuff like that, and of course there's some platformers and all that, and there was a Resogun like game in there that was pretty cool.
Nice.
And a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember whenever we were playing early access, which really the last time that we actually played a decent amount was during the summer of last year. It's been a while. And I think at that time it was definitely still a little oh hey, look, there's a neat idea here and there, but I don't think we ever really played something that felt like this feels complete, or this feels like a completely well-rounded on all sides idea. And I didn't really see much polished things, but it sounds like maybe that's getting better.
People had a lot more time,
yeah,
and there's more stuff in there. Don't know all the details for the full version, so people will be able to mess around with that and all that. I also can't wait for them to add the VR mode in there.
Yeah. Have they said anything more about that?
They said it was, last I heard, and not that I've been keeping. I mean, I know they've been talking about what's going on with the game more than I've been paying attention. So I don't know what the last thing they've officially said, but they did say it was going to come after launch. I just don't know how long.
Yeah. So how were the media molecule levels that you did play?
I mean, pretty good. They were good, and obviously, they were, or definitely looked a lot more polished and all that kind of stuff. Because,
yeah.
But I didn't play that many of them. There weren't too many of them at the forefront. I just kind of did the popular whatever levels or whatever, and there weren't that many up front. And one of the ones, like I said, was the story mode.
Yeah.
Which the screen for it looks really crazy. And okay, there's gonna be some neat stuff in there.
I wonder if the story mode is just it's just a string of media molecule levels, or is there going to be some weird through line?
It sounds like the description made it sound like there could be a through line.
Oh, yeah, that's
which
good.
is also which also makes me excited to play it in a way of seeing what can be done in this game, is because it is just a level that they made using dreams. So this kind of thing will be possible. Right. For someone else to make.
Yeah. I hope they don't, not that they did it that often, but I hope they don't pull the Mario Maker 2 thing where Mario Maker 2 had stuff in the story mode that you couldn't do in
Why can't we do the escort toads in our levels?
That's just a really weird thing to do in a creating game. It's we're going to throw things that you can't do yourself. It's
I don't think Media Molecule do that the way they've been talking about this game and all that. They kind of been everything you're seeing here, you can do.
Yeah.
They've been that's kind of been a major thing.
So I wonder what they'll do, because I wonder if they'll continue to add on to the story mode or do more storyline things or whatever, or will they not do that because Dreams is kind of the thing that's going to update itself?
I don't think they're going to update the actual story mode. I think they're still going to make their own levels and maybe even have
drop them in there.
Might have something that's maybe comparable in size at some point down the line.
Yeah, I just wonder how they'll do their own things. Will it just be a kind of like drip feed, like they just keep dropping in their own things, or will it be some big event, or will they just never touch it themselves again and just let the community go run wild? It's like
I think they will touch it. I mean, it seems like they kind of were adding levels kind of throughout the early access stuff.
Yeah,
so
I hope it sells enough to be like something that it's viable for them to keep putting things into.
Yeah, they were talking about like a PS5 version potentially. They're like, hey, we want to do a PS5 and PC version, which is actually possible.
Yeah, I was about to say, please, I've said from day one with Dreams, I'm so into Dreams, but for real, if they announced that they're not only thinking about doing it, but it's here, mouse and keyboard support, I would play so much more of this game. Because I'm one of those that the thought of making things, even if they're shitty, is more appealing to me than playing things almost. I just like to make things.
Yeah,
I would be so much more into it if I didn't have to use that controller. So much more into it,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're definitely looking to do that. They said it's going to depend on how well it sells.
Well,
so we'll have to see.
I really hope so, because again, the actual mechanics and Dreams of the creation stuff is nothing like a normal Little Big Planet or Super Mario Maker or something. This is like a freaking Adobe software. I mean, you have to do tutorial videos, and it felt like I'm doing an After Effects tutorial. It's crazy, and with that kind of complex movement and designs, doing that with especially the motion controls on the controller just has never felt good to me. It feels good to play, but making things with that, I'm no, I want it there. And say if I could just move my mouse, that would be so much better. So I really hope that that's coming. I might contemplate getting it again on PC if that gets to the point, because that's where I would rather play it. But at the very least, mouse and keyboard for the PS4 would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things. I'm sure if that option's available, me and Mom could be like, yes, do it.
Yeah, I hope so. You got any more Dream stuff?
No, not at the moment.
I'm sure we will speak more about it in the coming weeks.
I mean, once we're done with Pokemon, I really do think we should just do a Dream stream where you just kind of do Dream surfing.
I agree. We should make that a weekly thing we do.
Yeah,
it's just because that'll probably be the game that just keeps on giving.
Yep.
As far as that hashtag content.
Yep. And as far as stuff that I'm planning on playing, that I got coming up, the Fire Emblem DLC's out. Definitely want to do that. I feel like there's something else that came out that
Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, just your favorite game of last year.
I'm picking that up at my house tomorrow, so I'll start playing it hopefully this week. Yeah, so I got stuff to fill my time before Ori comes out.
I need Ori to come out. I'm in kind of a rut, but I really obviously I am still jonesing to finish Control. I really, if it was completely on me, I would have finished Control, but I'm playing it with my sister and I haven't been over there again. So I mean, I'm probably one max 2 more sessions away from beating Control, but that's what I would be doing right now. But instead, I'm just kind of chilling. Been playing Final Fantasy 14, but it's fun. I just don't have anything to really add about it.
Yeah,
it's a good time killer.
Yeah, messing around with fighters. That's been fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, how's Kefla?
She's not out yet.
Oh right, yeah, that's the end of the month. Have they added in the changes yet?
No, I think that's coming with Kefla.
Okay, then we won't talk about it now. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, hit me with that news jingle.
Jingle. Darby, Anthem is being reborn.
What's Anthem?
Only
you guys remember Anthem?
This comes from Matt Kim from IGN. BioWare General Manager Casey Hudson announced in a new blog post that the developers of BioWare will be redesigning Anthem that will reinvent the core gameplay loop. The effort is meant to be a large overhaul Anthem instead of just a series of updates and expansions. In an official BioWare blog post, Hudson thanked readers for 1 year of Anthem, a game he says represented a big leap into new territory for us as a studio. Hudson acknowledged that since launch, there have been critical feedback from fans saying Anthem needs a more satisfying loot experience, better long-term progression, and a more fulfilling endgame. Quote, over the coming months, we will be focusing on a long-term redesign of the experience, specifically working to reinvent the core gameplay loop with clear goals, motivating challenges, and progression with meaningful rewards while preserving the fun of flying and fighting in a vast science fantasy setting. To do this, Hudson says the developers of BioWare will be doing something we'd like to have done more the first time around, giving a focused team the time to test and iterate, focusing on gameplay first. What that last sentence tells me, Darby, is EA was like, you got to put this shit out. Yeah, because they're saying we want to do more play testing.
Yeah. Oh no, I think that is abundantly clear. I mean, like this is their like. We already knew that, and this is their kind of subtle way of being like, God, we weren't ready. We were forced.
And we know we didn't give updates, but we needed to not do this so we could do this.
We should have been spending this whole
time. It's like No Man's Sky / Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, I was about to say, it's becoming like this whole story is something that's just happened so often that it's just kind of become a tired tale at this point where it's like games as service type game launches with missing features and what it has is like not very fun, and then it fixes itself and becomes kind of what it was supposed to be a year or 2 years or whatever after the fact. I mean, like that's not even miraculous anymore. Like I don't think anyone is really thinking that like Anthem, like, oh, there's no way Anthem can get good. Of course it can. All these games, I mean, Final Fantasy 14 was apparently an absolute dumpster fire and then turned into a really super good MMO, and Destiny has like gone through so many changes. I mean, like I have no doubt that Anthem can, with enough effort and enough time and everything and enough like overhauls, can become a really fun game. It's just, my thing is, with like a lot of these games, honestly, how much is that going to like actually make up at least sales and everything else for this blunder? Because I don't know if you agree with me, but I mean, kind of no matter what Anthem does, I don't think it's ever going to reach the heights of what they wanted from it. Well, because of this launch.
Here's also the thing of, unless they kind of completely reboot it to where it's a different SKU, Anthem's $10 nowadays. So, I mean, they might be selling copies, but they won't be making money necessarily. Unless people really go in for those like loot boxes or whatever the crap they sell, microtransactions they have.
That's what, do you feel like this is just EA, like, let's get everyone to like us before Anthem 2?
Man, let me put it this way. If they do this and it turns out well, they need to wait a while before they do Anthem 2.
I agree. I'm just trying to get in the mind of the business of the suit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like so many other things. It's not new. This is not new anymore for this like big change. Like, I'm not surprised that they're saying that they're going to do this complete overhaul. It was either this or completely abandon the game, and like this seemed like the more likely road for me. It's just, I mean, it's kind of even the same thing with No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is like No Man's Sky is put up as the like kind of poster child for turnarounds, for like it made the most miraculous turnaround. It became a great game despite like because the whole marketing and everything in their release of No Man's Sky is one of the biggest blunders I've seen in video game history. And they turned it around to be a really good game. And that's great and all, but even No Man's Sky, even after Beyond and everything came out, I mean, maybe I'm missing something, but like, it still never, ever, ever got to the commercial heights that it was thought it was going to get to. Like, I don't think that big turnaround actually like equated to, oh, it's a huge financial success now. Like, I don't really know if that happened. And I don't think that would happen for Anthem either.
Yeah. Well, you said No Man's Sky could post a shot for that. As far as like both turnaround, as far as reception and maybe sales, I think Final Fantasy 14 might be a more best case scenario. I imagine
they're all there. But I mean, like, people talk about No Man's Sky like it was just a complete and utter success turnaround. Like, I still do think that like horrible launch is going to always taint No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
And I mean, even Hello Games and everything afterwards. Just like I do think the Anthem's launch will always taint that. But, I mean, it's not impossible. You know, like you said, Final Fantasy 14 has completely shed that bad mojo, you know, and even Destiny in a lot of ways You know, it's still kind of up and down, but for the most part, it's shed a lot of that. So I don't know. It could happen.
Yeah.
But even all these other games, like Anthem has just fallen so far out of the video game vernacular and the talk, you know, no one talks about Anthem even a little bit anymore.
No. This is the first time people talked about Anthem in a while. I mean, the most I heard is people all being like, when we went to the, like, talked about NPDs, like, oh, Anthem got there or was there or whatever. And that's usually the gist of it.
Yeah. No. I mean, so what do you think? What do you think could and will and whatever happen with this Anthem reboot?
I feel like with this kind of game in particular, people just have moved on to where it definitely won't move the needle as much as they want, but it's even like, will this even move the needle significantly? Because again, a bunch of people moved on, but like I said earlier, though, Anthem is $10 usually nowadays. Yeah. So if it changes, that people, word of mouth's good, people might get on there for that, so they might have a decently large player base for a while. But I don't know. Like we've been saying, there are so many of these kind of games that people jump from game to game. I think it's harder to try to convince a lot of these people to go to what might be a almost 2-year-old game by the time this update actually comes out.
Yeah, and I mean, I am kind of speaking for ignorance because I haven't actually played Anthem or even seen a ton of it, but like the whole selling copies for $10 and doing all these upgrades and everything is like, it's not quite free to play, but it's close as far as like we're not making money from the sales, but we're doing all this. I feel like that kind of thing like works for like Fortnite and other games like that, but I don't feel like Anthem is like, obviously it has microtransactions and it's set up in that way, but not quite as much as Fortnite, where it's like the cosmetics for there and it's just you drop in and do one, you get the battle pass, you do whatever. Like Anthem is a lot more of like you go through the story content with your friends and everything. It's not like this like matches and all these other like I just don't feel like it's quite as like Anthem was not designed to be like a free to play game that makes like all of its money through microtransactions and all those other things. Like I think it was way more built to be a Destiny type model where they sell expansions. Like that was obviously the plan. There was supposed to be big Anthem expansions. So I don't know if Anthem is built to be we make all of our money on the back end and we basically give you the game for free. I don't think it's really built for that type of thing, unless they might completely change it. Anthem might look completely different by the time this is all said and done.
Yep. Might find out at E3 if EA has a press conference.
What game has the better chance for the comeback, Anthem or Fallout 76?
Anthem.
I agree, Anthem, because I think Anthem has a core concept that's fun. Fallout 76 has nothing that's fun.
Yeah.
The coldest take ever said on this podcast.
Speaking of cold takes, this comes from Adam Bankhurst from IGN. The cold take was our reaction to this. When this was originally announced. A brand new trailer for Square Enix's Outriders has revealed that it will be launching holiday 2020 for not just Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC, but also for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Outriders' newest trailer, which you can see below. No.
Yeah, you watch.
Shows more of the 1 to 3 player drop in, drop out co-op third person shooter that takes place on the ruined world of Enoch. Glimpses of new characters, aliens/monsters, and weapons are shown alongside the words "Leave humanity behind."
Who needs them? You know what I'm saying?
Fuck humanity.
Fuck the humans.
Yeah. Developed by Bulletstorm and Gears of War Judgment's People Can Fly, the gameplay looks to mix both gunplay and magic and appears to feature a player perspective similar to the Gears of War franchise. So, Darby, did you remember this game?
I did because I remember us just kind of laughing at about how generic and just like. I mean, just insanely generic it looked. It was like so generic that I actually didn't remember it. It was memorable in a way. And I didn't watch the gameplay, but I watched the cinematic trailer thing, like the new one. And like at least that first trailer was like it looked comically generic to a point where I'm like, they just like literally like a machine made this. They just put like Destiny, Call of Duty, all these other things in a pot, and it just like produced this trailer. This is not that dissimilar from that, but at least when I watched this trailer, at least I was like, okay, this could be for someone.
Yeah.
It's not me. It's definitely not you, but it could be for someone. You know, you got the same thing?
Pretty much.
Also, I thought this trailer had some cool visual. I mean, it looks visually very stunning. Like
next gen, baby.
Like, yeah, quality of the like visuals and everything were pretty wild, but it doesn't really have like that hook that there's nothing about this that's like, this is what we do. Yeah. You know, this is what we do better than anyone else, or this is our thing. It's more of like, we're just taking a bunch of things that apparently gamers like and throwing it into something.
Yeah. There are impressions out for this game. I haven't listened or watched any impressions or anything, so I have no idea what the people feel about it.
I listened to a little bit of Kind of Funny, and they were like, yeah, it's fun, kind of generic, but fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if it's like a next-gen launch title, maybe that's all it needs is to just be fun, and it might sell like way more than we ever think it would, because it's just like, it's like the only game of that type of a next-gen launch, you know? Mm-hmm. It might be a game that 5 years from now we don't talk about, but it like surprisingly sold a lot because it was a
launch title.
Yeah, it stood out at launch.
Well, Darby, it's time to talk about another Square Enix game.
Yeah, we got the important Square Enix game out of the way. So
now it's time to talk about Avengers.
Let's dig in the garbage.
Which had a new trailer as well that I didn't put in here and some other stuff. And
I did not.
Achievements leaked.
That's an odd one because, dear listener, if you remember, that game is coming out in September. Yeah. That is quite a few months away for your achievements to already be unlocking.
Yeah. Well, I have nothing else to say about that. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, it's fine.
There was nothing really new for any of this stuff besides, I think, Thor getting a slight redesign and pre-order bonuses and the different edition crap that I don't care about. Yeah. So let's talk about the game we do care about, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, boy.
We got that opening cinematic.
The whole damn thing. And Jeff, this shit's crazy. I was not expecting to see like the entire outside of Midgard area.
Yep.
It's not prepared for that. It's crazy. In the main game, like, that's just a big tan circle around Midgard. You literally like you never see that outside of the world map. Basically, it's just like a little circle. Here, it's like a fucking desert with like sprawling mountains. It's unfucking real. It's crazy. I'm sure you agree.
Yeah. It is curious that they're putting this out like about 2 months before the game comes out.
Yeah, they are putting a lot of stuff out.
Put out the fucking demo!
Come on, you fucking coward. Like, they're gonna wait until March 3rd, like the original release date, and be like, oh, now you get the demo. Oh, isn't that cute? We put it out on the first release date. Oh, shut up. Quit being cute. Just give us the thing now.
The optimistic thing about this is they're putting this out for the kind of hype around it. Because when they release the demo, it's might be like the start of the game where we're gonna see that anyway.
Yeah.
And then they get hyped twice.
Well, I feel like they are putting out stuff. It feels like every week we have something new to get excited about with the 7 remake. And they just talked about like the side quest and showed all those new models and everything.
Killing rats. I don't like it.
They're doing everything like boom, boom, boom. So it does maybe feel like we're building up to something. Like, yeah, it would be kind of weird to show all this stuff and then stop for a
I think
month,
it's also because you know, people played Outriders. And also during that event, it is heavily believed, and some people, I think I already said it, they play Final Fantasy VII as well.
Well, Bradley Ellis from Easy Allies was like tweeting out 7 remake
also
pictures.
And I think that stuff might I think that stuff might happen soon because PAX East is in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
7 is playable there.
Yeah.
And so is Last of Us Part 2. And I think there were a couple other ones. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the fact that it's being playable at PAX East makes me feel probably not. It probably means nothing as far as the demo. But
I mean, they might be waiting for those events to be over before they do the demo, just so those event goers, I guess, feel special.
fuck them.
I agree, but I can see that. But talking about this trailer, like, there's not a whole lot of, like, the trailer was, I mean, it's not a trailer, but the opening cinematic was phenomenal, but there's not a whole lot of new information to glean. But, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I do think it was really cool to, like, how, like, again, it's the new elements mixed with the old. It's that whole, like, because really just like the last minute and a half it was all that the original scene was, when it like blends into going down to Aerith and everything, which I think the way they did that was really cool, the way they mixed those two. But like, this is the type of thing that I think we can expect from this game, is that you go in like, ooh, I can't wait to see this, like, from the original game. And you do see that, but you also see like 3 times as much stuff all around it. And this whole first trailer showing us the upper plate of Midgar, which we really don't get to see very much in the normal game, because they're usually in the slums for the most of the game, like underneath. And it just looks so damn lively. Like, that city looks alive with like kids on their bikes and everything. Like, it legitimately, so many times when I see this game, it reminds me of Red Dead Redemption 2 as far as like the world feeling lived in, which is like the highest praise I could possibly give this game.
But they're making us kill rats, so fuck those kids.
Yeah, so I'm not buying the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm glad we're all on the same page, Darby.
This game.
Speaking of not being on the same page, Dice Awards happened, Darby.
They did. Honk, honk, motherfucker.
Yep. So I figured it could be a fun thing, just what's to see the difference between developers and us normies, and I guess
Casuals
in the press and all that kind of stuff. Kind of go through. I won't read out all the nominees unless it comes up in conversation, but kind of go through who won the awards, and say Game of the Year for last. As tradition.
Yes.
Outstanding achievement in game direction. Control. Outstanding achievement in game design. Baba Is You.
Well, I just realized this game direction, Death Stranding was not even nominated for game direction. I'm kind of shocked. Sorry, should I not interrupt every time I'm shocked? Because I'm shocked a lot with the dice.
No, it's fine. Be shocked. Portable game of the year. Sayonara Wild Hearts. Outstanding achievement for an independent game. Untitled Goose Game. Wait. Outer Wilds wasn't even nominated? What the fuck?
Oh yeah.
What the fuck?
Fucking Goose Game.
Immersive reality game of the year. Pistol Whip. What the fuck is that?
I've never even heard of it.
Damn PC nerds. Immersive reality technical achievement. Blood and Truth. Outstanding achievement in online gameplay. Apex Legends. Strategy/simulation game of the year. Fire Emblem Three Houses.
I like the name Oxygen Not Included is one of the strategy games nominated. It's a fun name.
Sports game of the year. FIFA 20.
Yeah.
Role-playing game of the year. Outer Worlds.
Nope. I'm sorry, guys. Disco Elysium's right there. I don't even have to play it to know.
I'm not surprised based on these nominees.
These game devs don't have time to play Disco Elysium. They're way too busy.
I think it's about as long as Outer Worlds.
Then they're just wrong.
Racing game of the year. Mario Kart Tour.
Now hold on.
Wait a minute.
We gotta talk, man.
I do declare.
I mean, not that, like, I don't. Like, the only other racing game here that I'm at all familiar with is Crash Team Racing.
Hey, you put respect on Trials Rising name.
Yeah.
I don't know that's a racing game.
Yeah. I just remember the dude like collapsing into the podium. That was that game, right?
I believe so.
Yes. E3, yeah.
Big Boy Slipped.
Big Boy Slip?
Yeah, that one's weird. Finding game of the year, Mortal Kombat 11. It should have been Jump Force, if we're being honest.
Jump Force should be banned for being nominated.
This has one less nominee than all of them, and they didn't put fucking Power Rangers in here to fill up a slot, put in fucking Jump Force. What is this world? What is this garbage? Family Game of the Year. Super Mario Maker 2, baby. Yep. Adventure Game of the Year. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, don't know about that one, Chief. You have RE2, Luigi's Mansion, Link's Awakening, and Death Stranding. Honestly, any of those. Like... It's just surprising to me because Jedi Fallen Order is so fucking janky and like from a dev award.
Okay, I think for a couple of these, I'll bring up an argument for why part of these wins, and I think Jedi Fallen Order will fit this.
It's just because it's a Star Wars game, so everyone knows Star Wars.
And they played it because
everyone played the Star Wars game because it's a Star Wars game. Like that's unfortunately so much about DICE. I feel like the things that win are not really at all reflected in what's good. It's just what is like short or just popular. Like what did the most people play? Because I mean, obviously these devs are not trying to play every game to review them. Like that's not what they're doing. So like their DICE Awards credibility is probably the last thing on their like priority list, which I understand, but it makes for some kind of pointless not awards, you know. But anyway,
Action Game of the Year, Control. So could Control win for action?
Yeah, they have like their categories are weird because I think they have like no shooter or even action adventure. They just have action. I don't know. It's weird.
Control sounds like it's more an adventure.
I mean, it is a lot of games. I don't know. It's a weird one.
Yeah. Okay. Outstanding technical achievement: Death Stranding. Outstanding achievement in story: Disco Elysium. Outstanding achievement in audio design: Death Stranding. Outstanding achievement in original music composition: Control. Outstanding achievement in character: the goose from Untitled Goose Game.
Now hold on.
That goose has some fucking character. You saw what happened when I pressed the honk button.
I have a few problems. I mean, the goose being nominated and the goose winning is problem number one.
Is it the Jedi Fallen Order character?
Grease?
I don't know.
He's a funny meme character. I mean, he is funny, but he is a very he's a side character in your like crew who just like has some charming and fun lines, but he has like no character development at all. Like if you were there's some actual like very kind of deep and cool stories around these characters in Jedi Fallen Order. Grease is like the one that doesn't have that. He's like the one person on the crew that doesn't have a backstory.
But Darby, the real question is Grease or Goose?
Grease. I mean, like, because he's still like he's a fun character and he has some backstory, but I don't know. That's a really weird one.
Outstanding achievement in art direction: Control. Outstanding achievement in animation: Luigi's Mansion 3. I saw a couple people upset with that, and I'm like, fuck you.
No, for everything I've seen and from what I've heard
the
from
animation
of
Luigi's Mansion 3 is god tier.
Yeah.
So,
totally.
Yeah. So, where I was getting at, in Game of the Year.
Yeah, that's the end of the game.
Untitled Goose Game.
And the nominees were Untitled Goose Game, Control, Death Stranding, Disco Elysium, Outer Wilds, and Untitled Goose Game 1.
Yep.
That's a weird one. I just I don't know. I feel like I hate to be such a downer. I just really don't understand Untitled Goose Game's like super huge appeal. Like I mean, I get why it's appealing. It's a fun, cute game, but like I just all year I saw so many people like treating it like it's a masterpiece, and I was like, as far as its actual game, like the actual game under the hood, it's a very whatever puzzle game. Like there's nothing that special about it. Like I even felt like it was starting to wear out its welcome, and it's short as fuck. It's like so ridiculously short, and even by the end of it I was like,
if you want to know how short, go watch our full playthrough on Untitled Goose Game.
full playthrough. I mean, it's fun enough, you know.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be this like aggressive about me like talking down on it if it wasn't like everyone treated it like it's like it's something revolutionary. When like Baba Is You is sitting there. If you're talking about puzzle games, good God.
Yeah.
Baba Is You just absolutely, like, as far as uniqueness and innovativeness and everything within presentation of a puzzle game, like, it blows this out of the fucking water. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, we texted about this a little before. I think part of it is because they don't play much. I think what helped Untitled Goose Game is shortness and it being on the Switch. Short game on the Switch, so they probably... I mean, it's on other things, obviously. Yeah. But I think the Switch is definitely... could be a factor for some of these devs in playing it, so they actually played it, and enough of them obviously liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It's enough to do it. And then there are a couple of these, like the Star Wars one, potentially. It's like, yeah, most of them probably play... Like, more of them probably played Star Wars because it is a Star Wars game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those. Just inherently, we just shouldn't take the DICE Awards very serious. I mean, we shouldn't take any awards, honestly, that seriously. It's all just kind of dumb. But, yeah, that's a weird one.
Yep. Very Western bias. Where are my anime titties?
Sakurai, that's all I'm saying.
Speaking of anime titties.
Cease this.
This comes from Chris Priestman from IGN. Disney has put a call out for more game developers to make games that reimagine its famous stories and characters. Sorry, I just realized we're unhinged today. We're dropping F-bombs left and right.
No, just coming in with a weird energy. Lock the kids, dude.
They were both just tired.
Don't let them listen to it. I was literally like asleep on the couch when Jeff got home today.
Yeah. This comes from Sean Shoptaw via Hollywood Reporter. Shoptaw. Senior VP of Games and Interactive Experience at Disney, who spoke in front of a crowd of game developers at DICE Summit 2020 in Las Vegas on February 12, 2020. Quote, I am here for one specific reason, to empower you to do really unique things with our catalog. We hope to tap into the power of creatives across the industry, end quote. He specifically invited game developers to come and play with Disney franchises, calling for more games like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Marvel's Spider-Man.
Jeff. Come and play.
Both of which told original stories in those universe and attracted plenty of praise. Shoptaw also mentioned that Disney's acquisition of 20th Century Fox means that the likes of Aliens, Die Hard, The Simpsons, Avatar, Bob's Burgers, and many more are possible franchises for game developers to use.
Disney Princess RPG win?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if this is surprising per se that, after the success of Fallen Order and Spider-Man.
Yes.
But I think it's nice that, at DICE being him saying openly games, I was like, hey, let's talk.
Yeah. What do you think this means, Jeff? I'm kind of glad they're just like our franchise. I hope what if that means even outside of just the superheroes? What if it's just everything?
Yeah. Unfortunately for the start, they mentioned Star Wars and stuff, but that's not happening. But any other developer other than EA, obviously, because
we're getting an Insomniac Toy Story game. Exactly. Let's fucking go.
I am curious to see Disney is more. It's more of a vice grip on the actual Disney stuff generally. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how open they're. Yeah. I mean, I know that Kingdom Hearts is a thing, but that
seems like someone was asleep at the wheel 15 years ago, and they're still paying the price for it now. If Disney's like, God, I wish we didn't sign that contract. God, I wish we could.
I mean, they can make it stop anytime they have Kingdom Hearts.
But these anime nerds keep buying it, so the money. Do we take the money, or do we stop them from making Mickey fight demon things? But something that is I think it is encouraging that with with the Marvel license in general, they are taking the mindset of, we're going to give these franchises to very big name, super talented devs and let them do whatever they want. Yeah. Like Spider-Man, they had a blank check. They're like, you make your Spider-Man thing. It does not have to be tied into the movies or anything else. It is your completely. They were giving, obviously, Square Enix Avengers, and there was that Guardians of the Galaxy. They're kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah,
Marvel they don't have this grip on it.
Yeah, since they kind of seem like the different parts of Disney are kind of run by their own heads or whatever. Marvel definitely seems to be the one that's more open to it, but nice to have someone from Disney. Disney themselves being like, yeah, let's do this.
I mean, the inviting developers to come and play is a good sign.
Yeah.
For like, I mean, I joked about an Insomniac Toy Story game, but that could legitimately be dope. That legitimately could be really fun. You know,
I'm trying to think of possibilities, like as far as not necessarily maybe not going as far as saying I want so and so to do this, use this property, but like
I mean, just a Toy Story game in general could be really good.
Yeah. Trying to think like what stuff could be. I mean, like, and also said in here, 20th Century Fox stuff is on the table. We obviously need a new Simpsons hit and run.
Oh, fuck it, dude. I mean, legit, that game could get the Destroy All Humans Battle for Bikini Bottom treatment. Oh yeah, that's the trifecta. It'll be complete. There's like all those games that like all of us inexplicably played in PS2.
Oh yeah, let's go, baby. I mean, not saying I want this necessarily, but I can see them give me someone the Avatar license.
Isn't there already, there's a Ubisoft Avatar game that's in development. I'm almost certain. Yeah. I think we just haven't heard about it in years, but
that's right.
Pretty sure that's a thing that's already happening. But okay, that was pre-Disney owning them, I think. But
yeah.
But probably still going on. Yeah.
And a lot of cool properties they could do.
Pirates of the Caribbean RPG.
Wait, I got it. We can finally have the dream. Disney v Nintendo fighting game.
Marvel versus Capcom versus Disney.
So there's Nintendo versus Shonen Jump.
Ariel's out there like doing uppercuts and combos on people. Mortal Kombat versus DC versus Marvel versus Capcom.
Versus Tipo.
And Tipo wins every time. Yes. Yeah, Disney's really hard to like come up with them because like inherently with video games, like 98% of video games are violent action things, and just a lot of Disney properties do not fit with that. Obviously, the superheroes do. Like that's why I'm kind of not even talking about the superheroes because it's like, of course, we're just going to keep getting more superheroes.
You know what? Potentially be like a dream type thing, or I don't know. Give Nintendo like Mickey Mouse to them to make a 3D platformer. Like do like an epic Mickey type thing, but something that's actually really good.
Give Studio MHR or whatever, the Cuphead studio.
Yeah. Do like a
I mean, I would kind of rather them just make Cuphead, but you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, you can make a cool platform. You can make a new DuckTales game.
Yeah.
There's definitely things you can do. You can even do like telltale story type things with some of these games. They're not as action focused, you know. But yeah, it's weird. Like Disney has so many properties, but I feel like a lot of them do not like aren't immediately identifiable like to be a video game thing, or at least like not in like a adult video game thing. Like there's probably a lot of super kid games that could be made with a lot of these, and probably already are on like phones and stuff. I'm sure there's a Frozen phone game that just sells on ton.
I don't know if those. I mean, I'm sure there is, but I feel like with those Disney mobile things, they try to do like it's everything Disney.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I don't know. Interesting. I hope they keep doing the thing of like we're going to give super good developers free reign over the license stuff.
Well, Darry, I got some bad news for you. The Disney stuff was good news, but I got bad news for you. It's comes from Matt Perslow from IGN. Geoff Keighley has announced that he is skipping E3 2020. It will not be producing E3 Coliseum this year.
How dare he?
In a tweet from his personal Twitter account, Keighley announced that he will not be attending this year's Electronic Entertainment Expo. Quote, I have made the difficult decision to decline to produce E3 Coliseum. For the first time in 25 years, I will not be participating in E3. End quote. It appears the decision has not come easy for Keighley. Quote, I've debated what to say about E3 2020. While I want to support the developers who showcase their work, I also need to be open and honest with you, the fans, about precisely what to expect from me. I look forward to supporting the industry in other ways and in other events in the future, he concluded. Keighley answered further questions people posed on Twitter. When asked what elements factored into his decision, he replied, ton of factors. I just don't really feel comfortable participating given what I know about the show as of today. Another user asked if E3 was still viable, considering both Keighley and companies such as Sony are distancing themselves from the event. Quote, I think E3 needs to become more digital and global. It's a brand that means a lot to people, but it shouldn't just be a show floor, he replied.
Not dead, but dying.
This was just a twist in the knife.
Yup. I mean, I think if you go back like last year, and I still do think that we were mostly like right for saying it last year, but we were definitely talking about like there's a lot of hyperbole about E3. E3 still has a place. Like people just talking about E3 is dead. It's not dead. And I still think that was true last year. And I still think as of right now, it's not completely dead. There's going to be it's going to serve a very crucial purpose this year, if for nothing else than for Microsoft. I mean, I think Microsoft's going to keep going like E3's. They're going to sit there like the E3 is burning around them, and Microsoft will be like,
this is fine.
Yeah, this is fine. They're going to do it. And I think it'll be fine. Even if E3's terrible, Microsoft will use it and move on. But this is... I mean, because I think we all got the message loud and clear that Sony is probably never coming back to E3, or if they do, it'll be a long time from now. Okay, if they're not here PS5 year, they're not going to be here. Yeah. And then Keighley being such a big, big name when it comes to just video game shows and releases and everything, for him to just straight up say I'm choosing not to do this because he doesn't like what he sees from the show. And I kind of feel like that's people immediately say lack of announcements, which is probably part of it, but I think it's also he sees the direct everyone knows that E3 has to change things to stay relevant. And judging by remember that leaked thing last year when they were talking about how to change the show,
yeah,
and they were talking about celebrities guest spots and horrible.
No one wants that.
Tone deaf things. It's very obvious decisions made by a bunch of old people who know nothing about video games in there.
I mean, legitimately, anyone who cares about E3 does not give a shit about celebrities.
Yes.
Unless it's Keanu Reeves.
Because again, it's being made by people who don't know this industry whatsoever. And I, at least speculating, I feel like that's probably also a big part of this is Geoff Keighley smells the blood in the water, and he's they don't know how to do this. They don't know how to actually save the show.
Yeah. I think it's more of that, unless the lack of announcements. Not saying it's going to be particularly crazy, but it is next gen, and we got a list of the ESA has put out a list of 10 or so, a tentative list, or there could be more lists of companies, and most of the big ones. I mean, the really big ones are there. Obviously, Sony's not there, and EA and stuff, but most of the big ones are there. And I noticed WB's on the list. I can't imagine a Batman game's announced by then.
If it's fucking not,
then they're okay. That's another topic. I think this has more to do with the whole celebrity and that kind of stuff, and how the show's actually done, and not necessarily the announcements.
And I do think you kind of saw the beginnings of this with Keighley starting up the opening night live thing in Gamescom,
which he said he's still doing.
Oh, and now I expect that to probably be even bigger. Last year was just the first big setup of it, and that was probably that was also probably him kind of diversifying his brand to be E3 is a sinking ship. Let me make sure I have other things that I can promote, outside of
hopefully we can react to that Gamescom thing this year.
Yeah, hopefully. That'll be good. Yeah, I mean, this is... I said, it already definitely... Everything was trending down for E3, and this is just, definitely a bad sign for another thing worse. How quickly do you think this ship's gonna sink at this point?
It could go pretty quickly. I expect in the next couple of years for sure be done. It just really depends on what Microsoft and Nintendo do. I think once one of them bails, then the whole thing's probably about over.
Yeah.
But I as far as potential why they would move out and potentially when, Microsoft really needs it this year, especially since Sony's not there for the next console launch. And depending on how that goes, they might not. and depending how the whole thing goes, may not even decide next year may be enough. Nintendo could potentially just drop it at any time and just do whatever the hell they want.
I mean, the main thing they do at E3 is a video upload onto the internet that could be done.
Well, and the other big thing is the Treehouse, but they can just set aside a week where they can get the live stream that. Because, I guess the crowd's there or whatever watching that, but that doesn't need to be there for that. Just still have the developer interviews and the Treehouse people playing it. Honestly, for me personally, the thing that would be lost the most potentially from E3 going away is we'll still get the press conference and stuff and all that kind of stuff. That stuff will still be there, even if it's not all put in one thing. But the thing that I would miss the most is the Treehouse stuff in particular and some of the other gameplay stuff. Yeah. It's the thing I think we would miss the most.
Yeah. But even that, again, I wish that they would just do periodic Treehouse stuff. Hey, we're going to just do
I think what it could... I'd like to potentially do, and maybe not every time. When there's a direct or something, just the next day, or if they have an early direct.
Or just stick around after the direct.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's an early day direct, just kind of for that day, it's just to show off the games. Mm-hmm. But... the reason I would not want that is more likely for us not be able to react to them because they'll be early in the day.
Yeah. But
when most of them are potentially when we get off work.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think within the next few years, E3's either going to be gone or it's going to be just a completely different thing. It might just turn into a fan event. But the thing is, it's pretty fucking bad at doing a fan event. That's the problem, is it can't really transition well. It's going to have to change a lot because, they allow people in there, but every time you've heard about that, it's the fans that go there cannot see anything. It's just not set up that way. They have to wait all day just to see one game. And then there's nothing for them to do there. There's no fan things. And it makes
it for the press a lot worse.
Yeah.
This is a press day this year, right?
I think. Okay. I can't exactly remember, but even a lot of Jason Schreier said he's straight up not going to E3. I think Kind of Funny said that they were at least contemplating not going to E3. There's a lot of people. Yeah, and a lot of these people are well, at this point, there's not much for us to do there, and we can cover things better from afar. Mm-hmm. I think it still was nice to have press can go actually get appointments to play games and stuff kind of missed that too, just having this centralized place where people can go see Final Fantasy VII Remake and this other game, go see a bunch of games at one time.
I feel like more of them, I'm sure a bunch of them do want to skip it. I feel like a reason why Kind of Funny will go this year is because next gen consoles we need to get our hands on those.
Yeah.
And all the games that are announced there.
Probably will. I mean, at least Jason Schreier not going. Someone at Kotaku will go, I'm sure. But.
Yeah. Yep. Easy Allies don't have to worry that much because they're already in the town of E2.
Yeah, this definitely makes it a lot easier.
And they're my favorite coverage of it, so it works out for me.
What?
So their coverage is the one I focus on the most, so it works out for me.
Same here.
All right, Darby, we want to talk about some businessy info.
Oh, put on your suit. It's time for business.
Let's
get down to business.
This comes from Brendan Sinclair.
When does Mulan come out?
Look it up, Darby. This comes from Brendan Sinclair from GameIndustry.biz. Sony has revealed the price it paid to make the longtime collaborator Insomniac Games part of the PlayStation family. According to what finally made today with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the acquisition of the studio cost, I'm just going to say the U.S. money, $229 million US, paid out mainly in cash.
Cold hard cash.
Sony announced the deal last August, following up on the success of Insomniac's PlayStation 4 exclusive Spider-Man game. At the time of the studio's sale, the game had sold more than 13.2 million copies. When's that movie coming out, Darby?
March 27th.
Oh, that's soon.
Yeah.
Cool.
Over month.
So yeah, we got some nice information. Let's get to see how much Sony paid for Insomniac. I gotta imagine it's already been worth it.
Yeah, which I think everyone's immediate reaction again, kind of ignorant because I don't really know how much these companies are supposed to really sell for, but that number at least struck me as low. But Jeff did his homework apparently.
Yeah,
I'm looking at a Wikipedia article.
Yeah. There's a Wikipedia article called List the Most Expensive Video Game Acquisitions.
Nice.
So I figured that would be a good place to kind of compare things. Insomniac is probably roughly maybe 15-ish spot or whatever on the list of most expensive. Right above them is Microsoft acquiring Rare in 2002 for $375 million.
Yeah, which
is about 150 million more.
And you pointed out something that I had not really thought about, but like definitely I think a very big contributing factor to this is that Insomniac does not own very many IPs like themselves. A lot of the games they've worked on are owned by Sony, or I think Song of the Deep was owned by GameStop's studio thing or whatever. Whereas like, something like Rare, like, I mean, Insomniac might be a bigger studio than Rare, or at least equivalent, but Rare, at least, especially at the time of that, like owned Banjo and Kazooie and several other,
Conquer, some other ones, So, and unfortunately, a lot of these here, EA is on this list a lot. Buying a bunch of random studios. Like one of the top ones is EA buying Bioware and Pandemic Studios for $775 million, and some other stuff. And a lot of this stuff is, we don't know, like Tencent bought Riot Games 2011 for 400 million. Yeah.
Okay, I'm surprised that wasn't more than that.
Yeah.
When did they buy them?
2011.
Okay, I guess that's why.
So this seems kind of potentially cheap for what they're getting out of Insomniac. Even disregarding the IP stuff, just because of how much Spider-Man already made. And how much Spider-Man 2 is going to sell, and whatever else they decide to make. Yeah. So,
and even relative to what it is, what Ratchet and Clank did,
Yeah.
But obviously, mostly Spider-Man.
Yeah. I guess the thing that means like it may not, it's better for Sony, especially as cheap as the fact, Insomniac was already making those games for them. Yeah. That's like, you're locked in, baby. Locked in. You have to.
You ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Sorry, we got a release date.
And they're probably perfectly fine with that because they like money.
Yeah, and job security.
I think
that's the main reason. Half-Life Alyx finally got a release date, Darby. We did not know the exact date it was coming out until now.
Yeah, which is funny because it's very soon. Yeah.
Yeah. We knew it was coming out in March. We just didn't know what day.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah. It's coming out March 23rd. Which, good date.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is a big thing. It's a VR thing and all that. But
kind of a good day because it's like bumping right up with like RE3. And
but it's like a week beforehand. That's enough time to probably play this game.
Yeah.
And the thing it's closest to is the Day of Reckoning with Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. When Isabelle will chase everyone the hill out.
Yeah, and while you build houses with Doomslayer.
Yes. I'm very it's interesting. Everything about Half-Life Alyx has been very, very interesting for obviously, any sort of Half-Life news has been like one of the biggest video game ongoing jokes that has ever been. It's just Half-Life 3, all this other stuff. It is very interesting the way that and honestly, probably I actually think it's pretty smart the way that Valve has treated Half-Life Alyx, because there's definitely a version of this whole thing where the internet is like on fire and furious about Half-Life Alyx, and like the whole vibe on Half-Life Alyx is super negative. You know what I mean? Like, if people had if they had just teased and be like, Half-Life, like, holy fuck, it's that or whatever, and then they realize, oh, it's a fucking VR game. Yeah, it would have been absolute pissed off anger. But it was a tweet. It was like, hey, we're doing a Half-Life thing. It's not Half-Life 3.
It's VR.
Yeah, it's VR. But it's gonna be a thing. But all right, they set the expectations, and even with this release date thing, they're not treating Half-Life Alyx like a super big deal, which I actually think is very smart. Because now, if Half-Life Alyx comes out and it's revolutionary for VR, it really does live up to everything it's gonna live up to, then that pop is gonna be holy fuck, you gotta play Half-Life Alyx. Whereas literally just the way it could have been the same game, but the way they presented it, it could have been well, it's not Half-Life 3. I mean, it's just some VR game. It's good, but I mean, it's not what you want. You know what I mean? I really think they've handled it super well.
Mm-hmm. I'm very curious about this game.
Yeah.
Wish I could play it.
It's like not very often is there like a big game that so many people are interested in, and the vast majority of them will not play it.
Yep.
Like the vast majority. Like that does not happen. Like it's definitely happened with some like big PC games and stuff back in the day when you just could not afford a PC to run it. But like in modern times, everything's so ubiquitous that does not happen very often. But certainly will. Certainly will this time.
Yep.
And I feel bad for Half-Life fans who might see, holy fuck, it got a 9.8. Holy fuck, it looks like the best thing in the world. I don't have $900 to drop down. I just have to sit here.
Well, more than that, because you gotta have a PC to run it. Yeah, it's a very expensive thing.
Like, what if Final Fantasy VII Remake? It was like, hey, Darby, it looks really good. Do you have $1,000 to spend on it? I'm like, no.
I'll save. Yeah. Darby, MPD time. Yes. We got the MPDs for January. So for the first month, it's always, when I read the top 10, it's also the top 10 best-selling games of the year.
That's how things work.
That's how time works. Number 1, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Never underestimate anime and poor game release timelines for the January.
Dragon Ball Z Kakarot launch web sales were the third highest in franchise history, trailing only Dragon Ball FighterZ and Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Yep.
It will be the only month that's probably on top. Or I don't know. Nothing big's coming out in February, so max 2 months.
No, it's not. Number 2, Call of Duty will be ahead of it.
Yes. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Let's see. Yep. Number 3, Madden NFL 20. Number 4, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Getting some legs there. Number 5, Grand Theft Auto 5. 6, NBA 2K20. 7, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Baby. Number 8, Mario Kart 8. Number 9, Ring Fit Adventure.
Good fit.
Yeah. And for blah blah blah. Let's see. This is the highest ranked placement for Ring Fit Adventure to date. So even more than his launch month. May not even been down the chart in this launch month. I think it just kind of steadily gone. I think it's just selling more and more each month as it goes on because the word of mouth is so good. And yeah, people want to get fit. Number 10, Red Dead Redemption 2. And then a bunch of other games for the rest of them.
Yeah, yeehaw.
So, Darby, I hate to break this news, but if I'm not going to bother reading the other 20, there's a game that's missing from this list that released last month. That game is Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Yeah.
But Darby, you know what's even more surprising or sad? It didn't even make in the top 10 for Switch games.
Oof. It had its second chance, Jeff.
You hate to see it.
It had its second chance, but maybe it'll actually go on sale. Like, maybe I'll be happy that I didn't drop $60 on it, and I know I'm sorry. But yeah, that's rough. Because definitely, I was gonna say like, well, you know, Jeff, that's a smaller game or whatever. But this was like, I mean, all video game sales in general were down like 25% from last year because like this is a very weak January.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, the fact that it could, it couldn't
Kakarot's let me just rephrase. Kakarot's the only new game in the top 20.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very historically, I mean, it's just a lot. Like, when last year's January was fucking crazy. I mean, there was Kingdom Hearts and Resident Evil and even new Super Mario Bros. U, whatever the hell. So, yeah, the fact that Tokyo Mirage Sessions couldn't even be on here and, like you said, top 10 Switch games, that's pretty terrible.
No, yeah.
Which really sucks because it seems like that's happening to Tokyo Mirage Sessions twice, basically.
Yep.
And now it has less of an excuse. It's on a platform that has a lot of sales.
You people did this.
I still want to play it. Man,
Yeah.
like, honestly, that kind of tells me that I was right to not put $60 on it, though. Sorry, Jeff.
Okay, time for some That's Kind of Awesome news of the week.
Yeah, real quick. Let me just go through this. And I'll explain why it's kind of awesome.
You better.
When's the last time we did this segment? It's been a minute.
I don't know. This is from Andrew Smith from IGN. One of the rarest pieces of gaming history, the Nintendo PlayStation, is currently up for auction and has become the most expensive item in gaming history. As the auction continues, bids for the Nintendo PlayStation exceeded 105,000 earlier today, officially making it the most expensive gaming item to date, according to Video Game History Foundation's Kelsey Lewin. At the time of writing, bids for the Nintendo PlayStation had reached $310,000 with a few weeks left in the auction. The prototype was designed to play NES cartridges and CD games, but never came to fruition after Nintendo publicly walked away from its unofficially official deal with Sony at the 1991 Consumer Electronics Show.
And it will be on the auction until March 20th. So if you want to spend more than $310,000 on a Nintendo PlayStation, you can go do that. You can go do just that. I just think this is really cool. It's cool that, like, I legitimately didn't even know these existed in the world. Like, I obviously I knew this was a thing that happened, but I didn't know that anyone actually owned them. And from what I read, just from like what people were saying, apparently it can, like, this actual thing can play SNES games. So it can do things. I don't think it can actually play PS1 games because the PS1 did not exist when this thing did. But that's just a really cool piece of history, and it's cool that it's there. The reason I say it's kind of cool is that I wish that this was in a museum somewhere, not for auction for a regular person to buy. That's kind of what I would.
I think it's somewhere. I forget the guy's name. I know someone I knew from other places that was leading the bid at some time, was talking about putting in some museum or something if he won it.
Yeah, there was some big video game museum thing that said, like, if you guys want to kickstart it or whatever and give it to us, we'll be happy and thank you. But they said, but we would rather you just donate money or something to us. So that was basically what they were saying. But it's also kind of cool. Like, this is just me, like, secondhand saying it. I literally just read this like a little bit ago. But apparently the guy that has it right now there was someone who worked for Sony during the Nintendo PlayStation thing or whatever. And then after that fell through, he kept a model and, like, had it with his company. And then within his company, there was a janitor. And that janitor won a bid inside the company or whatever, basically this, like, raffle thing, and got it. And that janitor is this guy. Yeah. This guy who's selling it. He was a janitor for the company that spun off of the Sony thing.
Now he's getting lots of money.
Now he's going to get a lot of money.
Yep.
I mean, the guy said that apparently this janitor has been taking it to, like, a bunch of different shows and, like, showing it off. He's been doing that for years. Apparently, I never knew this was happening, but he said it's getting, like, prohibitively expensive for him to do that or something. He said that he's turned down offers of $1 million to sell it before. So I don't know.
He's like, you fucking nerds.
I mean, this thing's at $300,000 with, like, more than a month to go on the auction. So. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a follow-up story and just how ridiculous this cost this bid gets.
Yeah. So that's $350,000 now, as of today.
All right. Well, the awesome news is out of the weeks. Now it's time to talk about an awesome little furry man. His name is Pikachu.
Yeah.
We're talking about Detective Pikachu.
Yep, here's Pikachu.
Yep. Pay no attention to the soulless eyes. No, Jeffrey.
How dare you?
We're talking about a little blue man.
Yep.
We're talking about the Smurfs.
Yep. They also have live
Jeff, you got to take the podcast away from me at some point or it'll just continue to derail.
I have seen the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Spontaneously, I might add.
Yes, I just said screw it after work and went to see it because I work, like, in the same shopping center as the movie, our local movie theater.
Like, was it like, were you at work thinking about like, you know what, I'm gonna go see Sonic, or were you in the parking lot like walking out to your car?
No.
Like,
I was thinking about it like in work, and it got to a point where it's like I was debating between Sonic and Birds of Prey.
Yeah, I personally would have went for Birds of Prey.
I'm gonna go see Birds of Prey probably next week. But I decided on Sonic because I saw people that I follow on Twitter saying they saw in the early screening that there's spoilers that you should try to avoid. So it's like, okay, I'll do Sonic.
Yeah, but
I'm not worried about Birds of Prey spoilers
for our gaming podcast. I am glad you did,
and and that was part of it too.
So how was it, Jeff?
I thought it was really good. I think it was a good, enjoyable. Obviously the kids movie.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really enjoyable. I don't know if I'm surprised or not that there weren't more references to Sonic things in there, or it wasn't. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I mean, did it feel like it was made by people who know Sonic and like care about Sonic? Okay,
I think so. I think they care about Sonic. When I've seen Ben Schwartz, the voice of Sonic, cares a lot about Sonic. So that's one of those nice little things. But there are little references there, and they didn't go crazy in some ways. Like there's no crazy amounts of like Sonic music in there, which is kind of disappointing,
Yeah.
Because Sonic music is good,
very iconic. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm talking about like Seven Rings in Hand and stuff. Why would that be the ones? Yeah. They were just I think it was
You're talking about Live and Learn.
Yeah, Live and Learn. They played some of it in the beginning, I believe, when you see Sonic on his home planet. And a little clip at the end. Oh, yeah, I guess we should also say we're doing it's kind of spoiler casty, I guess, where I kind of do generally.
Yeah, spoiler free at first, and we'll let you know when we move into spoilers.
Yep. So yeah, I thought it was enjoyable. I think they nailed Sonic and Eggman, which is very important for this. Like as far as that, I do think Jim Carrey did a good job as Robotnik.
Was he just straight up 90s Jim Carrey?
He was, but it fits Robotnik. He was a crazier version of than I'm used to seeing for Robotnik, but Robotnik's a little crazy anyway.
Yeah. So
it works. There are a couple the early scenes where Jim Carrey where I was like, this is not fitting, but once we got into it a little more, it's like, okay, this is working. This is working.
Yeah.
And especially that's, like a lot of people, especially around my age, I'm a fan of 90s Jim Carrey. So seeing that stuff is nice after a long time.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time since we've had that.
Yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised by James Marsden's character. And his kind of whole thing. I expect, okay, this is gonna I'm mainly gonna care about Sonic and Robotnik in this, and that'll be it. I'll probably was like, the human characters, whatever. But they were enjoyable enough. He like James Marsden's character and Sonic played off each other really well. It had a nice dynamic, like kind of believable for this kind of movie dynamic as far as them building their friendship and all that.
Yeah,
and that was really nice. Yeah.
Do you think the revised model held up the whole time? Because that was definitely a worry.
Darby, I would not be singing praises for this movie. They had the whole model. Like we talked about, like would it change the movie? I could not imagine seeing this without this model. Like it'd be bad. Yeah,
but it wasn't just that the model was objectively better, but I was definitely worried about they had a movie already made, and then they put this model on top of it. I was like, is there going to be times where it just looked straight up bad because they were like,
I didn't think so.
They didn't make the movie with this model in mind, Yeah, but
yeah, not really anything in particular where I think the old model, the both models wouldn't work for things. Obviously, they had to change facial expressions and all that, but nothing crazy. Like they, he's a little different, so they had to change his one scene or something. Nothing like that.
It's pretty insane to go back and look at the old model and be like, "This is what the movie was going to be."
No, especially now watching the movie and seeing a couple people obviously making memes and stuff on Twitter and stuff. It looks even worse now. They nailed Sonic's look.
Which is just wild.
I mean, again, it's a video game movie, so there's or a kids movie based on a video game. So obviously, it's not going to look perfect and all that kind of stuff. And he's a very cartoony character and into the real world. But I can't think of a way they could make this better.
That's good.
Yeah. As far as the way he looked and fit into the world. It's unless you just made it straight up a animated movie, like, you know, CGI thing, which you could argue would be a better thing.
I was about to say, I think I would prefer that a lot more. I might have gone and seen it, but I mean, yeah. Do you still like? Because my biggest thing, like going into this movie, I was like, this just screams one of those. It's like the studio heads are like, no, it has to be a real thing with real people, or no one's gonna go see this or whatever. Like, I look at this as like, why does it have to be Sonic is an alien that like crashes onto like our real world and it's like this fish out of water thing? It was like, why can't we just make a Sonic movie? Like, that's just where I'm at. Like, do you like after seeing it think that this was the right way to go, or do you still kind of wish that it was just a Sonic movie?
I think this is a right
way to go.
I think I don't like to say like it's definitively the right way to go, or it'd be better than a straight up Sonic movie, but this was, I think the way they did it was done well. Yep. And I'll get into it later as far as potential movies past this. Okay. Like that's what gets me really excited about that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm ready to get into spoilers.
Okay, let's get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1. You've been warned. Blah blah blah. So good. I can. So what really has me excited for this is the sequel, like the stuff they potentially set up for the sequel, because all you see of Sonic's home planet, which is Green Hill Zone, pretty much, is in the beginning of the movie, and then Sonic's owl mommy sends him to a bunch of different planets, and then Sonic planet hops until he pretty much settles on Earth for a while. And like the way it works is you see baby Sonic, which is adorable. Owl mommy sends him to a different world, and then you fast forward to Sonic. Like I think it's 10 years later, and he's obviously been on Earth for a while and kind of settling. He has his own little cave with stuff he's collected, and the whole thing is with James Marsden character is Sonic has been in the background, kind of, you know, living in this town and kind of stalking him in a way. Like he'll mess with him, like, because James Marsden character is a cop, and you know, and this is the town of Green Hill. Nothing really. It's a small town where nothing really bad particularly happens, and James Marsden character Tom wants to go to San Francisco to be like an actual cop instead of just a cop in name that just kind of helps people with odd jobs.
Okay.
So he's like out of the speed trap or whatever. He has the gun out, and then Sonic runs by, and he's seeing like 300 miles per hour. He's like, "What?" And then you see Sonic going behind the car, looking at the speed, and then he's done that multiple times. And once he gets faster, Sonic's like, "Yes." Stuff like that. So yeah, they do some cute stuff like that with Sonic speed and all that. But yeah, so Sonic is kind of watching James Marsden's character even like going to his house,
watching him sleep, masturbate. Like
when James Marsden's character and his wife are watching a movie, Sonic will be outside the window watching it with him and reciting lines and all that kind of stuff.
So why did he pick this random guy to stalk him?
Because he found him interesting, because the whole cop thing, and they call him Donut Lord because James Marsden's character is so bored he talks to donuts sometimes. Okay. Like they're cadets or something.
All right.
And then at some point Sonic kind of, well, also what I like is with Sonic, he talks to himself a lot, but they kind of contextualize it by the fact that this whole time for like 10 years pretty much he's been lonely, so he's kind of talking to himself, and they do a funny thing where Sonic uses his speed to kind of go to places quickly, so he's his own therapist. He's in a therapy office and he's dressed up as a therapist. Like, so you seem to be having a bunch of problems, going crazy because you're lonely. I was like, yeah, I guess. And kind of they do a lot of stuff like that, which is neat. Like he does a whole baseball game by himself.
That's funny. That's funny.
And at the time, the baseball thing, he realized he's lonely, so he kind of goes super speed and he lets off this big wave of energy that pretty much shuts down like turns off the power for like the whole Pacific Northwest. So the government's like, what's the shit? We can't explain this in any way. Get that crazy doctor guy Robotnik.
Nice.
So that's how he comes in and all that kind of stuff. That's how Jim Carrey pops into the movie. And naturally,
you were talking about the sequel. What excites you about the sequel, mate? Like the sequel possibility.
Okay, so what in the beginning of the movie, and Sonic's on his home planet, the reason that his owl mommy sends him to a different world is he's being hunted because of his super speed, which is apparently this big great power. So it's not just hey, Sonic's whole planet does this. No, he's special even in that way.
Yeah.
Even throughout the universe, it seems like. And what is chasing him seems to be Echidnas, which are Knuckles people.
Yeah.
So that's like I instantly, and other people seem to think that those are what they are too. Like I instantly recognize, like, ooh, okay, you're getting me here. So that kind of stuff set up in the beginning, and then at the end, after Eggman's cold thing, you kind of see increasingly Eggman gets like obsessed with Sonic.
Yeah,
as is expected.
Yeah.
So at some point, Sonic sends Robotnik to what was supposed to be the next planet on his list if this Earth didn't work out, which is a uninhabited planet filled with mushrooms.
The Kingdom Hearts world, sir.
No, it's the mushroom world, the Mushroom Kingdom, some would say. So he sends them through there, and Robotnik is trapped there.
At the end of the movie?
Yeah, he's trapped on this alien planet by himself. And that's when he shaves his head, his mustache grows out. He has the iconic Eggman look.
Okay. Yeah.
Which
I showed that in the trailer. Right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I was wondering, when's that coming? Like, the movie can't end. Oh, it is ending. Oh, that's where it is. It's literally the last scene of the actual movie.
It's just like the dark, like, it's just like so many trailers like that. They like, it's probably someone high up like, no, you got to show the iconic thing that everyone knows. And then people making the movie are like, but that's literally the fucking end. I don't care. You got to do it.
Well, again, what makes me excited is it makes sense why he didn't do it until the end of, why he didn't shave his head or anything up to that point. Save it for the end or whatever. But he looks really good with that. Like, they have like kind of glasses type thing, the way the beard looks and all that. I mean, it's obviously goofy and cartoony, but I think it works. Especially while there's all the crazy stuff. And the main sequel bait thing, which had, even in my theater, some kids freaking out during the mid-credits scene, is Tails pops out of a portal on Earth. And with a machine thing, like, okay.
With a machine gun?
I got to find him. I hope it's not too late. And he just flies off into the town.
Nice.
You're assuming looking for Sonic, and that will be the start of Sonic 2.
So wait, at the beginning was like Green Hill Zone under attack or something? Is that why Sonic was leaving?
What happened was Sonic was the whole thing of Sonic has these special powers, blah, blah, blah. He needs to hide it. But because it's Sonic, he didn't listen.
Yeah.
So he was just running around over the place. The Echidnas found him and saw him and started attacking. And his owl mom was like, yo, go through this ring portal.
So it's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes.
He got in one little fight and his owl mommy got scared.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You cracked the code.
Yeah, okay.
So
that's cool. So we might get some Knuckles action. Might get the whole gang in this next one.
People are thinking they might, if things work out, go like the actual Sonic games, where Sonic 1 is just Sonic. Sonic 2 is Sonic and Tails. Mm-hmm. Sonic 3 is Sonic and Knuckles.
Could be, yeah.
Or they should just...
They gotta get a lot of movies, so they're gonna do all
this. But luckily, I mean, the budget, I think, was only $90 million.
I saw 85. So.
Yeah, 85, 90 million, somewhere around there. And I think in the U.S., it's projected to reach like 60 million.
So that budget was probably all these reshoots.
Yeah. Like projected to use like 60 million at this point. Like it seems to be over projecting or whatever at the moment. So
yeah, it was in 4 days that got over 50 million, which is for what it is. It's pretty. I mean, it came out at a very good time.
Oh yeah, I mean, anyone said so. Like because it's a 4-day weekend when Valentine's Day is the end and beginning and President's Day is at the end. And like for kids,
it's competing against the absolutely bombing Birds of Prey.
Well, and everyone just people's pointing out there hasn't been like a significant, like really good kids movie or whatever for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that. Onward or Inward or whatever hell that Pixar movie that's coming out next month.
No clue.
So
it's like coming out at a much better time than like Detective Pikachu did, which was like right after Endgame and stuff. And
yeah,
that's
like, right.
You know, this is
right around there. Yeah.
I wonder how it's doing compared to Detective Pikachu sales wise. It's definitely like again better place. But.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I will say I told you this yesterday because there are a lot of comparisons between the two.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
let's end off with that. Let's
no Smash Initiative teasers at the end of this. But I will say this is before we before we do that, I just want to say one thing as far as the humor and stuff. I thought it was really well done. I like the things they did with Sonic Speed. It did the whole thing of you got to suspend your disbelief because there are times when he does the Flash shit where he moving so fast, time literally stops for everyone else. And it's like, why can't you do this?
Why can't any like super speed thing they just can't help themselves? They have to do that.
Yeah. But I'm more willing to do that for Sonic because it's fucking a Sonic live action movie than The Flash, which annoys me to no end. The Flash CW show, which does it a lot worse. As far as that kind of stuff. So that kind of stuff is good and all that. And again, the relationship between Sonic and James Marsden's character is really well done. I think it's it was a fun movie. Yeah, and comparing to Detective Pikachu,
Hotake, Jeff, which one's better? Which one wins? There's a winner and a loser, Jeff.
Probably Sonic.
Wow.
I mean, I know I'm coming off hot, but I'm just thinking about it. And as far as like the structure of a movie, I think Sonic's is a lot more solid. I mean, like all the way around.
I mean, I believe that because Detective Pikachu's a bad movie. but
just from a structure of it, it's a lot. I mean, obviously, Detective Pikachu has the whole thing of just finding his dad and Detective Pikachu, blah blah blah. But as far as the Sonic movie's pretty straightforward. It's Sonic needs to go here, and Eggman's chasing him.
I mean, that could be good. A lot of movies bite off way more than they can chew.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and for a Sonic movie, it doesn't need to be any more than that because that's the whole thing with most Sonic anything. At least for the first movie, that's as good of a plot. I mean, good as the main plot as you need for it. And again, the acting and the writing I thought was pretty good as far as all that. And one thing Sonic instantly has over Detective Pikachu is the villain, because you have Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. It's instantly better than...
Just from the trailers, he's better than anything in Detective Pikachu as far as the villain's going.
So
and I thought the acting in Detective Pikachu was so terrible. And
I think that's also a thing that I do think across the board the acting in Sonic is better. Yeah.
Like I could see that.
Ben Schwartz is.
I mean, Jim Carrey is like a.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, has he won an Oscar? If not, he's like worthy of it. I mean, he is a.
Jim Carrey's better. Yeah. I mean, the as far as acting goes, Ryan Reynolds is by far the best thing in Detective Pikachu.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds is phenomenal in everything he does, but like the kid, bad. Especially the girl that he's with is bad.
Psyduck was good.
The villain is bad. There's lots of bad actors.
But again, Jay Marsden did good. Ben Schwartz at Sonic, really good. Obviously Jim Carrey's great as well. And and I also like that, when Tails popped up instead of the lion, it's like, that is a good voice for Tails.
Good.
So, yeah. I am coming out of the movies, I am a lot more excited for a Sonic sequel. Like, really excited. Like, I'll be there day one. I mean, again, I'm not trying to put this out. This is a really great masterpiece of a movie. This is a solid, fun movie that makes Sonic fans happy. And the potential, this was a lot more grounded in the way of, it's Sonic in the real world and all that. But it seems like what they're setting up, things will get a lot more batshit insane. What we would think we would want from a Sonic movie for the sequel, which is very exciting.
That's cool. Yeah, no, and I still even I'm very happy for you and everything. So, and I definitely get how this is gonna be a fun movie, and I'm sure I would watch it and have a fun enough time. But I still don't have any more interest in seeing it because it's just I don't have that nostalgia. I don't have. I mean, I played Sonic, but I don't have this deep connection. Just like I didn't have a deep connection for Detective Pikachu. And for me to see a very, very kids movie like this, it would have to be like we talked off screen, something like Sly Cooper or something like that I have attachment to. for me to go see that type of kids movie. And I totally get, like, I would be there. I would be there day one for corny as hell, not that great Sly Cooper movie or something like that. And I would love it. But I would need it to be something I care about, or something like Zootopia. Yeah. It's like, this is obviously transcending, you know? Yeah. So, like, I don't think I would enjoy this movie, but I'm very glad it exists, you know, for everyone.
I'm hoping it does well enough for a sequel. I think it will, the way things are looking.
It's 2 well-received video game movies in a row. I still think Detective Pikachu is a pretty bad video game movie, but a lot of people disagree with me. So, like, that's, you know, that's good. We got 2 well-received ones back to back. Crazy.
Gotta go fast.
How many times did you say gotta go fast?
Once.
Maybe multiple times. The fact that he's thinking about it is more than once.
I think a little girl said it more because she saw Sonic and she imitated him while her mom was tied up. Just running around here like, gotta go fast, gotta go fast.
Like a BDSM thing.
No, it's because James Marsden's sister-in-law doesn't like him and wanted to turn him into the police because he's harboring a fugitive, or he was a fugitive. Yeah, they made him, his character, like act out as a terrorist because technically Robotnik's working for the government.
Fun.
Yep. That was also okay. One other thing I did to go off that's like, okay, you're asking a little more from me than normal is the fact that they were talking like on the news and stuff. Hey, this guy, this police officer, Tom, this very pretty looking man, he's a terrorist. Look out for him. And then he's walking in broad daylight talking to people, like trying to get around places. Like, okay. Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, that's like the one thing more than anything. It's like, I'll go with you because it didn't happen that much, but it's kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
That was the most, I mean, if that's all I got to do that's the main thing I had to spend my disbelief for.
In a Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Yeah, I think he did well enough.
Yeah.
The more I get away from it, it's like, that's a damn solid movie.
Good. That's good. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the podcast. We had a very good time. Make sure you check out Nerds and Dragons. We're about to record more on Sunday. I'm stoked. Got some crazy, wacky stuff in the pipeline. It'll be fun. And then we have, stay tuned to the podcast in the next few because we got some cool games coming out. We got Ori next month. We got Final Fantasy VII Remake. Soon after that, I got RE3. Almost said 7. RE3. Hooey.
Hooey.
All right. Thank you guys. Peace.